I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna
NexGen looks like you took a photo than he.
Okay, what up YouTube? This is NexGenSlayer. Welcome to Slayer Says. We are here doing Slayer Says on Interchange. Everybody, Slayer Says still. Slayer says shut up. Slayer says next person who talks gets shot. Good. Slayer says you shouldn't really be talking. Slayer says don't knife. Slayer says face Slayer at all times and get back in line.
My knife.
Get back in line. Slayer says get back in line. Okay. Slayer says facing me all times. The game will start. Now Slayer says.
Okay. Bye.
Slayer says if you look anywhere else but at me, you will be shot, because that is considered cheating or peeking or whatever you want to call it. Good, good, good. Remember, this is an easy game. It's like Simon Says, so just follow my rules and you won't die. It's pretty simple. Just listen. Slayer says crouch. Slayer says keep your eye on me. Good. Good. Okay. Slayer says stand up. Slayer says crouch. Slayer says jump and then spin around clockwise. Jump once, Slayer says. Slayer says keep spinning clockwise. Slayer says make sure you're spinning clockwise and not counterclockwise. Slayer says keep on doing it, don't stop. Okay, Slayer says keep on doing it. Slayer says good. Slayer says it looks like almost everyone's doing it right. Yes, Slayer says you're doing it. Good. Slayer says stop. Slayer says stop and face me again.
I'm dizzy.
Good. Everybody crouch. Good. Everybody but Diabology dies. Just joking. Diabology dies.
Oh.
Slayer says jump and keep jumping. Remember, if I don't say Slayer says, then you should not be doing it. Hey Raymond, you having fun there? I know your English is a little slow, so I'll repeat it. Slayer says keep on jumping. Good. Okay. Slayer says don't stop. Any hesitation? No. Good. You guys can stop now.
Not fair.
Slayer says stop.
100% just say.
Good. Slayer says point your gun up to the sky. Good. What you guys see up there?
Birds.
Bye.
And a couple birds.
Good.
I see them off on my screen.
Slayer says, listen very carefully. Slayer says fire less than one bullet. Good. Very good.
Good. There's the one bullet.
Okay, now you guys can really fire one bullet. Fire one bullet only, please.
Salute.
Oh, Kanzi, that was very good. Good demonstration. Fire one bullet into my head. I'm just joking. I'll fire one into your head. That's how you fire one bullet. Okay.
Yep.
Slayer says good. Slayer says I'm going to do a trivia game with you guys, okay? Slayer says just answer truthfully and everything should be fine. Slayer says if I do not say Slayer says and I ask you a question, do not answer it. So if I say jalapeno, what's your favorite color? Don't answer it, okay? Jalapeno, get back in line.
Oh my god, sorry.
Jalapeno, get back in line.
Slayer, sorry.
Good job, Jalapeno. I did not say Slayer says, so you survived. Slayer says get back in line, Jalapeno. Slayer says you can look down to get back in line. I don't know what you're doing. Slayer. Really? Really? Slayer says yes, do the retard dance. Okay. Jalapeno, what is your favorite color? Good. J-Man, how many letters do you have in your name? Not numbers, letters. Don't include your gamer tag, or clan tag. Okay, good. Slayer says, Professor Swag, do you have a lot of swag?
Yeah.
Oh, good answer. Okay. Is this Visinal? Visinal end? Did I say your name right? El Goodfellow. What? I shouldn't ask that. That's personal. I was gonna ask. Okay. Is 76 the year you were born in? Good answer. Slayer says, Corey, how many X's do you have in your name? Not a trick question. You should get this. 5. Very good. Slayer says, shut up. There we go. Raymond, do you have a number in your name? Good. Slayer says, God of Life. Can you count to 10?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Very good. That's a good skill to have in life. You can do math. Very good. Slayer says you guys can all stare at me again. You passed the trivia game. Slayer says face Slayer. Good. Now what we are doing is rapid fire. Slayer says you must listen very carefully. Just same thing as Slayer says, except I'll be going pretty fast now, so try and keep pace. If you guys start falling behind, meaning like you can't do it within 2 seconds, you will be shot. So Slayer says listen. Okay. And just saying, I will be very strict from now on, so don't do anything stupid, not anything I don't say. Good.
My camera in my head, audio.
Slayer says jump. Okay. Crouch, crouch, crouch. What is I saying? Good. Slayer says you guys can stop jumping. Okay, the rest of you jump besides those two, please. Slayer says jump. Slayer says crouch. Slayer says prone. Slayer says prone. Slayer says crouch. Slayer says stand. Slayer says jump. Please crouch. Very good. Die with some dignity. Okay. You guys having fun?
No!
Oh, I like that answer. I try to be very fun. Jalapeno. Follow me, Jalapeno. No? I'm not a very attractive guy, aren't I? You don't really want to follow me. Let me meet these dead people, just because, you know, they're loud. Okay, Slayer says jump. Slayer says crouch. Slayer says prone. Good. Stand up. Okay. Slayer says stand up. El Goodfellow. Jumping the gun. Almost stood up before I said Slayer says. You must have a very good connection there.
Let me hear Slayer.
It's because I was muting people. Sorry, I was muting people.
Oh, that's good. But we have an even number. That's not good. I need someone to die. Okay, Slayer says face your partner.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, I'm not kidding you.
Oh.
What the?
Wow.
Really? Really? That was uncalled for.
Holy crap.
I did not expect that.
Dude, I wasn't even looking at the partner.
I was camping.
Dude, I wasn't even looking at the partner.
Guys, guys,
Slayer, I wasn't even looking at the partner. You're gonna do it, dude.
Wow.
I just read to start shooting you. Flag, I muted him. Flag, you're gonna get kicked.